Welcome to the Women Veteran Entrepreneurs. We call it WAVE Podcast. So it's not just for women veteran entrepreneurs, it's also for Black and Brown women who are looking for government contracting. My name is Omar Mohammed. This show is brought to you by Truist Bank. We really appreciate the contribution and the support that they give us to put on this particular podcast. This is our second year. And each time we all come into this podcast, we have a specific topic. So today we're talking about certifications. But before we get to certifications, I know you're all excited about that. We're going to talk about some of the things quickly about what we do at Morgan State University under this initiative. So the initiative is all around supporting women veteran entrepreneurs of color and those women who are looking to do government contracting. So we have a entrepreneurship boot camp. It's a 4-week entrepreneurship training program that really focuses on government contracting. We have a certification boot camp, helping those individuals who are looking to do certification, not just with the federal government, but with local and state government as well. Of course, we have this wonderful podcast here. We have specialized webinars, and we have access to capital. So we have micro loans. We're working on bigger loans, though, and grants for those individuals who are looking for access to capital. And we also have an annual event that's going to take place on April the 27th of 2023. So those are all the activities that we do. And you can find us at EDAC, that's EDAC Morgan, EDAC Morgan, all one word.com. And that's where we are. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the podcast. And I have the pleasure of introducing our esteemed panel here, starting with Lucinia Mundy. Is it Mundy? Mundy, got it right. And she's with Meet Charles County. Thank you for coming on board. And we also have Roslyn Davis of RoDa Business Solutions. And thank you for your
RoDa Business Solutions.
RoDa Business. All right, RoDa Business Solutions. And thank you for your service. Air Force, is that correct?
That is correct. Aim high.
There you go. And we have Likia Hawkins of Steel Point. So that's the panel. Y'all know I'm gonna disappear. Uh-oh. We here. All right, I'm gonna disappear for a few minutes, for about 20 minutes, and you all will have the conversation about certification. So, Lucinia, if you want to take it over.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Once again, my name is Lucinia F Mundy, and I work at the Charles County Government's Economic Development Department. And what I do there is I certify women and minority-owned businesses, including minority-owned, veteran-owned businesses, with our local certification program, because a lot of our women and minorities have not gotten as much government contracting opportunities as they should have gotten in the past. So we do have our own specialized certification program that we call the Small Local Business Enterprise Program. And that program is basically for businesses who are headquartered in Charles County, Maryland, or who have a branch office located in Charles County, Maryland. And that certification program set aside government contracts, Charles County government contracts, valued right now up to $25,000. We're trying to get them that number raised up to $50,000, but that pot of contracts are reserved exclusively for our certified small local owned businesses. And we're trying to reach out to the local business community, including the veteran business community, to let them know about that particular program that I manage. And basically, it just gives you a preference, when you bid on contracts versus your competitor, the non-Charles County business. We give up to 10% preference points on your bids. So, just think of it as a bid discount because, when you're dealing with government contracts, it's unfortunate, but they typically go with the lowest bid. Unless you're talking about proposals, then they want to look at the quality of the proposal and the lowest bid. So Any discount we can offer our certified businesses on when they bid on, projects, the better, it is for them. And we also have a minority and women-owned business enterprise program that is local to Charles County, but that is statewide recognized. So what that means is, if you have not already become certified with the state of Maryland Department of Transportation as a minority business enterprise or as a disadvantaged business enterprise, you want to get certified with the state. I tell you why, Charles County government, we only do about maybe $30 million in business. We procure that much business typically every year. Maybe the number goes up and down, but the state of Maryland, they procure over $1 billion in contracting opportunities. So we require all of our women and minority-owned businesses to get certified with the state of Maryland first, because there are many more opportunities there, and you get access to all 23 counties, including Baltimore City, in terms of government contracting opportunities. So we have our local vendors MWBE program that we have an application process. In fact, for both of our programs, the SLBE Small Local Business Enterprise Program, as well as our MWBE Minority Women in Business Enterprise Program. Simple application process that you can get online at meetcharlescounty.com and click on small business programs. And then you'll scroll down to where it says SLBE or MWBE. The application is certainly less than 6 or 7 pages long. We typically require the application to be completed online, to be emailed to us online, and to submit your attachments online. And typical attachments may be like a W-9 form, a copy of your driver's license. If you're located in the county, a home-based occupation permit or use and occupancy permit, or even a lease agreement that proves you're either headquartered in the county or you're thinking about or have opened up a branch in Charles County for the SLBE program. The good thing is for our MWBE program, it doesn't matter where you're located throughout the state, throughout the country. Once you get certified with the Maryland Department of Transportation, we recognize that certification and will automatically register you with our vendors MWBE list, because all of our county buying agents look at this vendors list to obtain quotes. So the best way to, and Charles County is not unique. All 23 counties in Baltimore City has their own vendors list. They think of it as a preferred vendors list. It's an application process. Fill it out, send the attachments in, you get on the vendors list. All of our buyers are going to go to that list first before they go outside of the county or outside of the state of Maryland to get bids and quotes on whatever products or services they need. And, like households, governments need any and everything you can think of, whether it's pens, papers, painting, construction, architectural, engineering, consulting services, law services, real estate services, whatever you can think of, whatever product or service you offer. 9 times out of 10, the government will procure it. It may not be as much as, say, like construction, because they procure a lot of construction contracts, but any type of service or product that you offer, I can guarantee you between the state of Maryland and Charles County government and all the other 23 counties, someone's going to need your product or service. But you got to get your ducks in a row. Why? Because your competitors have gotten their ducks in a row and they have been certified and have registered with all 23 counties, including Baltimore City. They've registered with the state of Maryland. Some of them want to do business with the federal government, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, government contracting industry. So they've even registered with the federal government. And I always typically tell people to start with the SBA, the Small Business Administration. That's SBA.gov, because they break things down on layman terms so that it's easy to understand and easy to get, access to federal contracts, at least the language anyway. So that's what we do here in Charles County government. We just certify the local businesses, and we also register the certified MWBE businesses. Now, if you're a veteran, and you happen to be of, one of the minority classes, Asian, veteran, Latino, Hispanic, veteran, female veteran, African American, of course, Native American. Those are the typical categories that will classify you as a minority veteran-owned firm. So I guess I'll pause right there to see if our two other distinguished guests have any questions, or they certainly introduce yourself and tell the audience what you're doing as a business owner.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mundy. My name is Likia Hawkins. I am the CEO of Steel Point Solutions, where we provide digital transformation services and solutions. Our mission is really to reimagine the way our clients do business, and in hopes that they can accelerate the mission impact. 10 years ago, I was sitting in this spot. I had a business plan trying to figure out where do we go from here. I had just left my job at a Fortune 500 company with my partner, and certifications was definitely a part of our strategic roadmap. Why? Because it qualifies your business, quite frankly, and it helps to get you as one piece of the bigger puzzle to help you get into the door. If nothing else, name recognition with the purchasers, contract officers, KOs, buyers, whatever you want to call it. There are a couple of things that I wanted to touch on in terms of Steel Point's journey and what we did in regards to the certification process. We were intentional. So we looked at, who were our target market, who were our clients, what were our services, and what certifications really mattered that would help us to really get in the door and begin the journey of expanding our footprint or getting a footprint, quite frankly. And when we looked at our target client base, honestly, we started with who are we doing business with now as a subcontractor, and what business certifications matter to them, and then ultimately what mattered to their customers, and hopefully eventually our customers. And so when we did that, our journey actually took us down the path of trying to go in and get the HubZone certification first. I know that sounds odd, but when we did an analysis of who we were competing against, a lot of the companies look very similar to Steel Point. Quite frankly, when you start your business, if you have to be honest with yourself, you are going to look like a lot of other businesses. And so what is your differentiator? And so we did some market research, and that's why we elected to go after the HubZone certification first. And then next, what we did was we did an assessment, and we said, okay, we did our research to determine which certification we wanted to pursue. Then we did an assessment, and we said, okay, can we actually go through the certification process on our own, or do we need to actually hire a consultant to help us navigate this process? And so that took time. And so what we did was we decided to sit down, pull down the SBA's HubZone certification requirements, take a look at who our clients was, the dollar value of the contracts we had, the location of our business, whether or not that was something that was even on the roadmap. A lot of planning went into this. It was very thoughtful and deliberative, and those are key takeaway words: thoughtful, intentional, and deliberative. And so once we did that, we said to ourselves, we can do this on our own. And if I have to be honest, it actually took us almost 8 to 9 months. I had to get my state senator involved. Be prepared for that. Relationships matter. Don't be afraid to use it. That's what your business dollars are there for, to engage your congressional representative, whether it's state or federal. Get to know who those people are. That's a part of your journey as well. And so when we did that, at the time, Director Pardo, Maria Pardo, she was the HubZone administrator. She actually had assigned to us a more senior HubZone specialist, and the third time was a charm. But it started with me actually getting Senator Mikulski, writing a letter to her office, getting her engaged. That got Director Pardo's attention, and Director Pardo had assigned to us a senior specialist. A lot of people say, well, failure, that's a lot of money. But in my mind, that failure was a lesson learned. And we needed that, because what you don't know will hurt you in this journey. It really will. And I'm learning that even to this day. There's still a lot of things that I'm trying to peel back the onion on. The next thing, so we did actually do it in-house, but it took us longer some would argue, well, had you gone with an outsourced person, you probably would have, shortened the time it took to get your certification. But I'm actually glad we actually did fail, because we got so much out of it in terms of how do we maintain it. We established relationships with the HubZone office, and we've been in that program for almost, I think, 7 years now. And it's a hard program to continue to stay a part of. So that leads me to my next step, which is post-certification. You have to have resources internally to monitor and manage and oversee ongoing compliance with these certifications. And those take real dollars. Those are not imaginary dollars. Your time, if you're the CEO or your partner or whomever, that person is going to be responsible for ensuring that you comply with the certification requirements, because you are going to be required on an annual basis to recertify. And so those are real dollars. And so as the CEO of the company, I am always engaged in understanding, whether or not we comply or not, where are our gaps, and what do we need to do to make sure that we close those gaps before the next audit, appraisal, or renewal. And so lastly, the last thing and the most important thing is making sure that certification actually is still meeting the original intent. Is it helping you to grow your footprint? Is it helping you to grow or establish relationships that will help you grow your footprint? If the answer is no, then you have to come up with a plan of how do I get that certification to help us meet our strategic objectives. So that's Still Point journey. I hope you guys gained some insightful information from that, and looking forward to hearing Mrs. Davis feedback as well as her journey as well. So thank you so much.
So thank you, ladies, and thank you, Morgan State, for this opportunity to share my journey. So I'm Roslyn Davis of RoDa Business Solutions, a management consulting firm specializing in program and project management, business administration, and logistics operations. So I've been in business for less than a year. I am an Air Force veteran, woman-owned small business, and I am seeking contracts with the federal government. So a bit about my journey is I looked at the certifications that would apply to my company as well. And like Likia said, I did not use an outsourcing firm to get my certifications. I determined that it is time consuming, but it's something that I had time to do, to put together the documents. And I'm glad I did it myself, because it helped me to understand the process, because I felt as though I would just be gathering my taxes, gathering bank statements, gathering all the documents that you needed, and then turning it over to a third party. So why not already gather those documents myself and apply? So a couple of things I would like to share is when I went for my service disabled veteran-owned small business / veteran-owned small business, I was under the VA's CVE program. Now, just keep in mind that that program has now moved to SBA, and they are the ones who certify veteran-owned businesses. That process took probably about 2 weeks, and it was very seamless, very painless, not a lot of documentation that was required. So I thank the VA for helping me get that qualification. Now, my women-owned small business certification went through SBA. And one thing I would share with everyone is to make sure that you hold on to the documents that you use for your certifications, because you will reuse some of those same documents for each certification. So don't discard them. So for my women-owned small business certification through SBA, it asked for a long list of documents. And I just took my time and I went through their checklist to make sure that I had all the documents that were required. I actually created a folder on my desktop computer and labeled it. This is for my women-owned certification, and here are the documents to match it up with their checklist, so that when it came time to submit my application online, I was able to plug and play. Now, I would also caution people to say, if something doesn't apply to your company, make sure that you say so. That if it's just a question, make it a comment that this does not apply. If it's a document that they're asking for, do a separate Word document that says, this particular requirement does not apply to my company, and here's why, and upload that document. That way you leave no blanks, no questions in the reviewer's mind if it applies or not. And that could help perhaps move your application a little further along, because then they won't have to stop and ask you questions. Now, another thing, I would say some key takeaways is to always insert comments, is like I was saying, but the key thing is to make sure you reuse the documents. And if the SBA versus the SBA and the VA have different nomenclatures of what they call the documents, call it what they call it. Because if you upload a document and the name is different from what they call it, it may confuse the reviewer. So although you're recycling the documents, make sure you name the files what certification you're going for as well. Another thing, one thing that helped me is because I was new to federal government contracting, being a new business, I didn't have business tax documents. So that helped me because they asked for 3 years of back taxes for your business. And because I didn't have them, I was able to skip that portion. So I would highly recommend, if you are in the market for starting a business with the federal government or with your state government, the time to go for those certifications is when you are a brand new entity. That way there will be things that don't apply to you and you can just state so, and it could be help move your application a little bit further along. For my SBA Women-Owned Small Business, it took 4 months, but I did it myself. And the 4 months was on the SBA's end because of the backlog that they had and the time it takes to review each application. So if I have any other things, key takeaways, I would say don't pay for anyone to do it for you, because like Likia mentioned, it helped her have lessons learned, but it also helped her understand the process. And when it came time for her recertifications, she was ready for that. And that's all I have as far as how I got started.
Thank you, Roslyn. One thing that I would like to earn is some of the certifications, for example, like your 8A certifications. And I know many of us have heard it, but the reality is that you should really wait to get your 8A certification. There are so many things that a business needs to put in place before they get that 8A certification. And it would be incumbent upon those individuals or that firm to really wait until, I believe, at least 5 or 6 years where you really have developed core capabilities, you have the infrastructure, and you have a good idea of how you're going to market that certification, because you only have, in essence, a short timeline. A lot of people think 9 years is a long time, but it really goes by very, very quickly. And the truth of the matter is that it's not until your 5th or 6th year into that certification, having that certification, that you really begin to gain traction and use it. And so what I would say is really begin to align yourself and have strategic partnerships, have mature capabilities, shore up your back office infrastructure, make sure that your sales and marketing and business development, you have resources allocated towards helping to market that capability, and then pursue the 8A certification. You will be very glad that you did that.
Likia, I could not agree with you more, because I've heard people say, oh, you can just get a waiver. No, I totally agree. Wait until you totally understand the business that you're in, because like I said, I've been in business for less than a year, but I have changed my capability statement a couple of times because I'm learning that this particular NAICS code does or does not apply. And so making sure that I totally understand what I'm getting into, what are my core capabilities. I am definitely one that will be waiting before I get my 8A certification because of all the things that you have mentioned. Now, speaking of another certification that I got through the state of Maryland, which is my MBE, DBE, and SBE certification. And that's another certification that takes a while, and it's a lot of documentation, but it's worth having. So right now I have the triple threat. I'm a women-owned, minority-owned, and veteran-owned small business. But as I was saying, recycling some of those documents, because what I use for the women-owned, I was able to use some of those same documents for the Maryland Department of Transportation, MBE, DBE certifications. So that helped me gather those documents and submit that application online much faster than if I had to start from scratch.
I would agree with that. I have my MBE, DBE, SBE certification as well. I do find value in having that certification, even though we don't directly go after state opportunities. I do believe that if a company elects to pursue the state certification as well, as Roslyn said, those documents are transferable. And the other thing that I would like to mention is a part of this certification process, it really gets you to thinking about, your business operations. At least that's how, the lens through which I looked at it is, it wasn't just let me get this done for the sake of getting it done, but it caused me to stop and pause to say, how is my business organized? How would I like for it to be organized? Where are the gaps? What are the short-term and long-term things that I need to do to fill those gaps? It should really be very, very intentional because again, whether you are planning to pursue a certification, you have a certification, or you receive the certification, they're going to require resources from your firm to make sure that the certifications are meeting the intention or the strategic goals that you have for your business.
Good points. Good points. And look here, you just hit it. Business operations. I mean, that's we do some work, as you know, in the DoD mentor protege space, and it's all about those documents and processes. And if you don't have those in place, it's going to be. You're gonna have. I don't want to say you're gonna have a hard time, but you're gonna have a hard time. So you definitely want to get those in place. All right. Any final thoughts? We could go around, and then if you want to give out your contact information, you could do that.
I have a final thought.
Okay.
So this was all about certifications and making sure that you have those certifications in place when you need them. But a key point is having those certifications does not guarantee you a contract.
Absolutely. Say that again, Roslyn.
Having that certification
right.
does not guarantee you a contract.
Absolutely.
It may get you a set aside, but you still have to apply and submit a proposal or an offer for that contract.
Absolutely. And then when you get the contract, you have to do what? You have to perform, right?
You have to perform very well.
Very well. Absolutely. So Ross, let's start with you. You want to give out your contact information?
So I'm Roslyn Davis of RoDa Business Solutions. My phone number is 301-543-9849, or my email is RoDa as in RoDa at RoDaBS.com. So RoDa at RoDaBS.com.
All right. Now, did you say BS?
Yes, BS as in Business Solutions.
Yep. Absolutely. Good deal. Just want to make sure they get it. All right. Good deal. Lakia, you want to give out your contact information?
Sure. Thank you. It's Likia Hawkins. I'm the CEO of Steel Point. I can be reached at 301-383-8130. The best way to connect with me is through LinkedIn as well. I'm very active on LinkedIn. You can always reach me by email. My email address is lthawkins@steelpoint. That's spelled STEELPOINT-LLC.com. Thank you.
All right. And Lucinia.
Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to. My final thought is I just want to remind the audiences to remember to reach out to your local county government's economic development office, because that's a free resource, free mentors. Also reach out to your state economic development office, you know, to help you get certified, or just with a business plan, a marketing plan, whatever you might need, because your tax dollars, again, are paying for state and local county government officials to assist you and to grow. And on the federal level as well, you know, the SBA, Small Business Administration, has over 50 small business development centers scattered throughout the country, and that's another free resource. So I just wanted to echo what the other two young ladies said by doing it yourself, but yes, you can get some free partners as opposed to paying for a third party. So my contact information, Lucinia Mundy, M-U-N-D-Y, is 301-885-1340. And you can reach me at our website at MEET, Charles County spelled out, .com. MEETCharlesCounty.com, and you can get my access information from our website. So thank you again.
All right, so thank you. Really appreciate the conversation and the resources that you all shared as well. Much success to you all. And you know, this website this podcast is all about building capacity, helping Black and brown women build capacity around government contracting. So thank you for the work that you all do. Thank you for your service as well. Don't forget, you can listen to past episodes of the Wave podcast. We're at EDAC Morgan. That's EDAC Morgan.com. Until we meet again, continue to improve and progress. Peace.
Thank you. Have a good day, all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.